Welcome to Detroit. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass. You can drown them. And that's what we gotta be. That's who we have to be. Because that's our domain. That is our domain. Because we'll tread water as long as it takes to fucking bury you.
Takes the snap, turns, gives to Montgomery, right side, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions! Yes.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions friends, fans, and family members. Welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike, and as always, we're diving on in. So folks, I know I said earlier that today was going to be a double dip Tuesday, but in reality now it's turning into a triple dip Tuesday because there has now come out a report, there has now come out something where I have to absolutely talk about it. Now, I'm still planning on releasing the episode that I made a post about later last night, but again, this is one of those things where it's like being a podcast, you always constantly have to be on your toes, you have to keep yourself open to stuff coming out where it's like, okay, we have to talk about these kinds of things, and one of those things just happened. What exactly am I referring to? What I'm referring to is a friend of mine actually sent me a message on Messenger, and it was a message that I was honestly not expecting, but I know for a lot of Lions fans, they've been hoping for. They've been waiting for, and now it's like, okay, we're starting to move towards a resolution. We're starting to move towards what we're wanting here. What am I referring to? I'm referring to Za'darius Smith. I'm referring to the Lions potentially bringing him back. What I'm specifically talking about here is that my friend sent me a picture that shows that Za'darius Smith made a comment about what he would like to do with his next step, what he wants to do next. And here's exactly the quote. I'm going to read it right off of my phone, and I'm probably going to put the image up on my screen here. But Za'darius Smith said, "Hopefully I can get back to where I want to be in Detroit." And that was a quote that he made via USA Today. And let's understand something here. Lions fans, ever since the news of Za'darius Smith getting released a couple of months ago happened, they have been scratching their heads trying to figure out the reason why. Not only one, he was cut, but also number two, why in the thunder has he not been brought back yet? And again, it's been a very, very, very tricky, very thin line for me to try to walk because it's like, okay, the reason why Za'darius Smith was cut was supposedly because the Lions thought they thought that the contract was not right in terms of value. They needed to make more funds, more space, whatever the case was, that was the reason why he was cut. But it's like, okay, now that, Frank Ragnow has retired, you're now bringing back well over $9 million of money that you don't have to pay Frank Ragnow. That's more than enough money to potentially bring him back and, again, still have the capability to rework a deal with linebacker Alex Anzalone. So it's like, okay here, we know the reason why he was cut, but now we have this massive question of, okay, Za'darius Smith is saying he wants to come back. His girlfriend has been active about trying to get him to want to come back. So it's like, okay, everything from Za'darius Smith's side of the equation has pointed to the exact same thing. He wants to be here in Detroit. He loves the team. He loves the culture. He loves the city. He wants to stay in Detroit. Which, considering the fact that I know that there are other teams that have probably reached out to him, but the fact that he's still saying, I want to come back to Detroit. I want to stay here. That right there tells me something. One, as I said, he loves the team. He loves what's going on here in the city and with, Dan Campbell and everybody else. But at the same time, Za'darius Smith recognizes that the Lions are probably still a top option to go and win a Super Bowl. And ultimately, that's pretty much going to trump virtually anything that another team's going to be able to offer Za'darius Smith. Because it's like, listen, the Lions clearly have a defense that last year showed with a whole bunch of injuries, they can still play top 10 ball. They still have an offense that was the best offense last year. It's like, listen, you are not going to find another team that is going to have all that available right here, right now, and at the same time has a clear opening that you can come in and you can play and you can provide for a team to actually go and win said Super Bowl. But then that begs the question. Okay, Za'darius Smith has made his wishes abundantly known. He's made his desires about coming back to Detroit abundantly clear. that brings us to the million-dollar question, so to speak. What in the hell is Brad Holmes waiting for? Why has he not made a move? And I'm not saying that in terms of being angry. I'm not saying that as in being impatient. It's a genuine, honest question. You've got a guy who's clearly telling you, hey, I want to come back. I want to stay with this team. I don't want to go anywhere else. But yet, Brad Holmes has not made a move to realistically move in that direction. The only thing that we know about what Brad Holmes has said about it is that, yes, they have talked to za'darius Smith. They also would like to bring him back. So it's like, okay, you clearly have two sides that are interested in, meeting and wanting to work together. What's preventing it? What's stopping you two from reaching a deal here? Because if you're going to say it's money, I'm going to be like, listen, we just got an extra $9 million from Frank Ragnow retiring. Money's not an issue right now. You should have more than enough money to be able to bring back za'darius Smith and handle anything else you're trying to deal with. So to me, it's like money's not an issue here. Money's not an excuse that you can realistically use unless there is something else that I'm completely missing here, which I find that hard to believe considering how close I keep myself to the whole situation with the Detroit Lions. Now, the only other reason that I can possibly, and if this is the reason, I would be absolutely shocked, but the only reason else I can think why the Lions have not made a dire necessity of bringing back za'darius Smith, despite the fact both sides have stated they want that to happen, is that the Lions are banking so heavily on Marcus Davenport that that's what they think is going to be a better option for them. But to me, that makes no sense because, again, what has, Brad Holmes said about the edge rushing position? He has stated he wants multiple guys. Well, okay, we know when Marcus Davenport is healthy, he's a damn good edge rusher. We have Ahmed Hazanin. We've already heard tons of reports coming out of camp that this guy is absolutely blowing away the freaking coaches. Like, he is absolutely, showing the coaches that he deserves to get starting reps. I'm not saying being a starter, but he deserves to get starting reps. He deserves to be part of that starting rotation with the edge rushers. And then, obviously, of course, you still have Aiden Hutchinson. So it's like, what better thing would it be to bring back a guy that clearly wants to be here? And now you have Davenport, Hutchinson, you have za'darius, and you have Hazanin. Like, dude, the amount of freaking edge rushing talent and that rotation, dude, there's no defensive line unit that's going to have a better rotation than us, and there's sure as hell not going to be an offensive line that's going to be able to handle that continuous rotation. You're going to have four guys that can keep each other fresh and healthy throughout the entirety of the year, and they're going to make offensive lines opposite of them into just absolutely living hells for them. Because it's like, dude, you can't possibly keep handling all of that. And, oh, by the way, they're coming in fresh, whereas you as an offensive line, you get tired the further along in the game you go. So that is a massive advantage for the Lions. So again, it begs the question, why has Brad Holmes not made the move? And again, it's a serious question. I'm not saying it in, like I said, in terms of anger or frustration. I'm just trying to figure out the why. And I, like anybody else, can come up with reasons. I've just named a few that I've thought of off the top of my head. But it's like, okay, here. Clearly, Brad Holmes knows the Lions fans want this. The Lions fans have been clamoring for this all throughout the offseason. And yes, getting Hazanin, that definitely has been a big move that has got a lot of Lions fans excited. But what better news would you possibly give to Lions fans right now than to say, yes, we are bringing back za'darius Smith. We are bringing him back. We are adding him again to this defense. And now you have a defensive line that is quite literally not only the most talented unit in the NFL, but it is also the deepest unit in the NFL. I mean, dude, you take a look. I just named the edge rushers, Hutch, za'darius, Hazanin, and Davenport. Then you talk about the guys in the middle. You have Tyleek Williams. You have Levi Onwuzurike. You have Josh Pascal. You have DJ Reader. And then, obviously, of course, you've got Aleem McNeil coming back at some point. I mean, dude, that freaking front is just insurmountable. That is a defensive line that is just like, dude, I don't know how the hell we're going to handle this. You're going to have offensive line units that are going to be like, man, we're in for a tough out when we go to play the Lions. So to me, it's like, okay, Brad Holmes, as much as I hate to say it, the ball be in your court now. You literally have everything in your possession to make this deal happen. And everything is pointing towards the deal should happen. So, Brad Holmes, as a sincere, honest Lions fan, Lions podcaster, I urge you, again, not out of anger, not out of frustration, not out of impatience, based on what has been said by both you and now za'darius Smith that he wants to continue playing here in Detroit, pick up the damn phone, get his agent on the phone, and let's make a deal. Let's make a deal that not only will make our defense better, our team better, but also improve our Super Bowl chances on a great season that everybody's already expecting from the Lions. I don't see any possible way how this is not a bad move for the Lions. I can't see any possible way how this does not benefit the Lions. And if that's the case, what has Dan Campbell always said about Brad Holmes? He's always looking for ways to improve the Lions. This is clearly a way that's going to improve the Lions. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So it's like, listen, I don't know what else is holding you back, but it's like, listen, you have money, you have cap space, you have a guy that clearly wants to play for you. You have expressed interest that you want him to play for you as well. So make the deal happen. Make Lions fans happy. Stop all the holdout and intrigue and mystery about what's going to happen and just get it done. Make everybody happy so that way we can move into training camp and you know what? Everybody's all smiles, everybody's all happy, and we don't have to worry about it anymore. That's my honest opinion. The ball is in your court now, Brad Holmes. You're the one that's going to have to do something with it. And let me tell you something. Lions fans, they pay very, very close attention to what you do. And let me tell you also something else. Because I've had to talk about this a number of times, when things go in a way that doesn't make sense or absolutely contradicts, in their opinion, what you've said in the past, they get rather hostile. And please, as a podcaster, it would make my life easier if I didn't have to keep talking about this. That's just me, honestly. I would much rather prefer saying, yep, you know what, we signed za'darius Smith, we can stop talking about this. We don't have to worry about this anymore. So please, Brad Holmes, make the deal, make the call, bring the guy in. That's what I'm asking here. Because it makes sense, it makes the team better, it helps our Super Bowl chances. From one fan talking to you, Brad Holmes, that's my honest and that is my sincere, plea. Please make this happen. But anyway, folks, like I said, I've got another episode that I'm planning to bring out. And again, I have not forgotten about it. I am still going to release it. Probably, if I had to take a guess, probably around 3 o'clock this afternoon. So again, if you all wanted to know when I'm going to release it, that's going to be about the time. So make sure you're tuned in because it's going to be something. I can guarantee you that. But anyway, folks, until that time, I just want to say thank you all for watching another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. Also encourage y'all to do one of these 3 things: like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. Also want to encourage y'all this: if you subscribed in the past and you forgot to do so at the time, please make sure you hit that bell notification icon so that way you guys never miss any more content I push out. Also want to encourage y'all to share the content. Again, let's continue to help the channel grow. We're almost to 10,000 subscribers. Again, let's keep trucking along. Let's keep growing and let's keep going. And with that, I hope everybody enjoyed this content. I hope it was able to give some people something else to think about. And again, hopefully bring some renewal to the hope that za'darius Smith will be brought back to us. I also hope everyone has something in their life that makes them happy, makes them smile. God bless, my friends. And until the next time we meet, later today at about 3 o'clock, I'll see you all in the next episode.